What's up, guys? Today we're working on the 2008 Lincoln MKX, and we've got this annoying airbag light that won't go away, and I'm going to be showing you guys exactly what I did to diagnose this, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the repair process as well. And what I'll show you is that the Clockspring that is inside here that manages all of these buttons, as well as the airbag in the steering wheel, that has gone bad. And I'm going to show you how I diagnosed that with a new scanner that I purchased and that I would highly recommend. And I'm going to go ahead and show you the replacement process. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you how I was able to diagnose what the actual problem was with my airbag light being on and not going off. It was with this tool, the Blue Driver Pro Scan tool. I'm going to give a shout out to Chris Fix for one of his videos that put me onto this. I really liked the interface, and that some of you may know that there are other scan tools out there, but they only do check engine lights. This one does all system codes. Anything that's wrong with your drivetrain, anything wrong with your transmission, anything wrong with your check engine codes, and also airbag codes or the restraint system. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out and show you the interface and show you what it showed me to let me know that it was the Clockspring that was the problem. This is it, guys. Really tiny little thing. Doesn't take a whole lot, but they advise you to go ahead and start the vehicle and then plug it in to your OBD2 connector on the car. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The light does go off, but it comes right back on. So let's go ahead and plug this in. For the Lincoln MKX, your connector is right here. The blue light means it's got power. This works on iOS as well as Android. So right now it's just connecting, and I'll go ahead and click read codes. Common dash lights I'm going to choose. Now I will tell you this, it might take a couple of minutes if you haven't scanned before for it to pull all of the codes. I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead. Alright, so it's done scanning. If you scroll down here, you see I've got one here, one restraint control module code, a B2293, the restraint system. All you got to do is tap on that. So they give you that it's an airbag fault, frequently reported fix, replaced Clockspring assembly, 2 other reported fixes, repaired Clockspring connector or tightened Clockspring connector. So that's how I was able to determine what was wrong and that it was the Clockspring. I did go through the process of checking the connectors underneath the seat, checking the fuses in the fuse panel, make sure that I didn't have a blown fuse and that everything was connected properly. You'll see other videos on YouTube that make those suggestions, but for this one, it's definitely the Clockspring assembly. So let's go ahead and move on to the repair for that. The first thing that you're going to want to do before you begin this repair is you're going to want to disconnect the negative on your battery terminal. What you want to do is make sure that the power to everything in the car is completely off and dissipated. So after you disconnect the negative on your battery, go ahead and wait about 15-20 minutes. After you get it disconnected, you may want to stick something plastic or rubber in between. My connector terminal wants to go back to the battery terminal, so just stick something in between there so that it can't connect while you're working on it. Alright, to get started, we're going to go ahead and grab a T20 torx, and you're going to go ahead and come over here, and we're going to take off the shroud underneath the steering wheel. Alright, and you see those 2 holes there? Inside there you've got a couple of T20 torque screws, and we're going to go ahead and remove those first. I wanted to point out that I missed one. Here's the lever for the tilt, and underneath that is another screw, so don't forget that one. So all I'm doing here is just taking a flathead screwdriver and just trying to work this this bottom casing off. Try the other side here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Just grab your flathead and separate that and get these two pieces off. Once you've got them separated, it should just come right off here. I feel like there's something connected to this. I can feel a tug on it. But the bottom one here, as you can see, just comes right off. So I'm going to find out what is holding on to this one. All right, now that I've got that off, it was all of these here, and there's even a couple on the side here. But once you get those off, then it just comes right off, and you've got access to inside here. Once you've got the top and bottom covers off, you're going to want to go ahead and remove the airbag and horn assembly here. And the way you do that, there are a couple little holes on the side. Here's one here, and there's one just like that on the other side. And so what you want to do is you want to go ahead and just take a thin screwdriver, this a thin Phillips, and just shove it in there, and you're going to feel a little resistance when you push in there. You don't want to push too hard, but you're going to feel a little resistance when you push on there. Okay, as you can see, I've got one on one side. I've got another one on the other side, and I did do them, like once I did this side and got this loose, then I did the other side and got this loose, and it just wants to come right out. Now be careful, guys, because you've got your two connectors here from your Clockspring to your airbag. So you want to go ahead and just carefully remove these and then remove your airbag. Okay, so what you have to do to get these off is you've got a little black piece right here, and what you need to do is on the back of it, you have to try to, fit your small flathead underneath it and just raise that up a little bit. Here's one that I've done. Here's one that I'm about to do. So you can see it only comes up a little bit, and then once you've done that, you can just wiggle it and take it right off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to the other side. I don't know if you can see this, guys, but the things that we were pressing on, if you can look right inside there, you see a little bar in there, and on this side you can see a little bar right inside there. So when we were pushing to release this airbag, these things have little slots right here and here, and so that's what we were pushing against to release that, allow this to come out like that. If you're watching through this video first and then you're going to go and tackle this, that's the idea. So a flathead screwdriver is the best in hindsight, but it worked also with the Phillips. So that's it, guys. Once you've got your connectors done, this thing is free to just pull out and put off to the side. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and remove the center nut. That's going to be a 19 millimeter. This connector right in here, you want to go ahead and there's a clip right inside there below it. Just go ahead and lift that up and give it a tug like so. All right, and then the first thing that you want to try is just see if it will come off all by itself. So just give it a wiggle, and I'm doing this with my knee and my hand. It just came off. There we go. So it just comes right off, and just set that aside. This here, guys, this is the problem. This is the Clockspring that we're going to go ahead and replace. So once you've got the steering wheel off, guys, go ahead and get your replacement Clockspring. I got mine from my local Ford Lincoln dealer. The number is AT4Z 14A664A. It looks just like this, with one difference is that they have a pin in here because this clock spring obviously moves back and forth, and they don't want it to do that during shipping and things like that. So all we're going to do is we're going to remove this one. We're going to go ahead and disconnect the connector here. So you just have to remove the top right and the bottom left, and this will come right off like so. And then we'll go ahead and get our new replacement. Okay, and we're not gonna remove this pin just yet. But just go ahead and get your 2 screws back in there, and then go ahead and connect this up like so. All right, I've got my connector in here. I've got my 2 screws in here to fasten the clock spring on here. I'm going to go ahead and pull this pin. You're just going to feed this through the steering wheel at the top. I'll show you that, and we're going to get this connected right here. Okay, so I fed this through here up top, and you've got a couple of guide pins on the clock spring that you want to make sure that the steering wheel goes over, and then go ahead and clip in your connector here for your buttons here on the sides here and here, and then we'll go ahead and get the center bolt put back on. All right, like so. Guys, I have no idea what the torque spec is on that. I just hand threaded it on there, grabbed my impact, and just hit it until it stopped, and it was done. So I don't know what the torque spec is on that. Okay, now we want to go ahead and get the airbag back on. We're going to go ahead and connect these and snap this back into place. Don't forget, after you connect these two, that you want to go ahead and push down on these 2 black locking fasteners before you go ahead and put the airbag back in. When you push your airbag back into place, you'll hear those 2 little metal clips snap right into place into those grooves, and that way you'll know you've got it in there. And then we'll go ahead and put the top casing on, the bottom casing on, and then we'll go ahead and reconnect the battery. Just a couple of reminders when you're putting the casing back on. Don't forget, on the top one you've got this rubber flashing that connects to holes inside the top case, and then also on the bottom, make sure to have your tilt steering bar. You're gonna stick this part in first. You're gonna stick this part in first down here, and then you're gonna put this down, and you're gonna slide this through over this bar here. There's some guides on both sides so that you know exactly that you're putting it in the correct way. So you're going to want to go ahead and leave this down because you've got the 1 torque screw that goes up in here, and then you've got the 2 here. Just go ahead and fasten those up, and then we'll go ahead and reconnect the battery. And we'll just go ahead and get this reconnected, and then we'll go ahead and turn the vehicle on and see if that airbag light goes away. Here it is, guys, the moment of truth. We've got our clock spring replaced. We're going to go ahead and turn on the vehicle and see if the airbag light goes away. And we have success. We do not have the airbag light any longer. And so, guys, that's how you diagnose an airbag light problem with your blue Driver OBD2 scanner. And then go ahead and replacing the clock spring, at least that was the issue for this one. Guys, I hope this was really helpful for you. I've never done this kind of repair before, so if you're a novice at doing auto repair, just following these simple steps, if you're handy with some tools, you can do this. Just follow steps. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please like and subscribe, and I will hopefully have some more videos for you coming soon.